Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk to you about something we all face. Challenges, obstacles that feel overwhelming, and moments when we're tempted to give up. In those moments, we stand at a crossroads. Either we break down or we break through. Challenges are an inevitable part of life. Yet most of us view them as roadblocks, unwanted interruptions that derail our plans and test our patience. The truth, however, is that challenges are often misinterpreted. They are not meant to stop us, but to redirect us. Life does not place obstacles in our path to punish us. Instead, these obstacles serve as prompts to pause, reassess, and adapt. In this way, challenges become opportunities in disguise, moments that push us beyond the surface and force us to explore new possibilities. They can awaken parts of ourselves that we never knew existed, like hidden strength, creativity, and resilience. Too often, people treat challenges as final verdicts. An exam failed, a job lost, a relationship broken, as if those events define their worth or determine their future. But such moments are not the end of our stories. They are merely the turning points, chapters where we face a fork in the road. When you confront adversity, you have two choices. Let it defeat you or let it teach you. Those who choose the latter discover that each setback can be a setup for a comeback. Opportunities don't always look like open doors. They often look like closed ones. It's in pushing against those doors, even when they seem locked, that we find new ways forward. The greatest innovations and triumphs in human history have come from people who faced tremendous challenges. Think of the inventors, leaders, artists, and everyday heroes who chose to turn their struggles into stepping stones. Their success stories didn't begin in moments of ease, but in periods of difficulty. Their breakthroughs weren't handed to them, they were carved out of hardship. This shows that adversity can be fertile ground for growth, innovation, and reinvention. Without challenges, we would remain stagnant, never forced to think differently or act boldly. When we begin to see challenges as opportunities, we transform our entire approach to life. Instead of dreading problems, we become curious about them. Instead of shrinking in fear, we step forward in courage. Our perspective shifts from victimhood to empowerment. And that shift is powerful. It ignites a sense of purpose, a determination to rise, and an unshakable belief that no challenge is the end. It is only the beginning of something greater waiting to be discovered. Human beings possess an extraordinary inner strength that often goes unnoticed until they are faced with adversity. We may appear fragile on the surface, vulnerable to stress and overwhelmed by life's burdens, but beneath that exterior lies a core of resilience that has been forged through centuries of survival, growth, and adaptation. When everything seems to fall apart, when the pressure becomes unbearable, that inner strength surfaces. Not always dramatically, but consistently. This ability to endure, to adapt, and to rise again after falling is what defines the human spirit. It's a reminder that we are not made to collapse under pressure, but to rise because of it. Throughout our lives, we encounter moments when giving up feels easier than going on. We experience losses that shake our foundations, rejections that bruise our self-esteem, and failures that seem to define us. In those moments, it's natural to feel broken, but feeling broken is not the same as being broken. There's a crucial difference. Feeling pain, disappointment, and fear is part of being human, but allowing those feelings to dictate our actions is a choice. Rising again, even with trembling hands and a heavy heart, is what proves our strength. In every trial, there is a lesson that strengthens our emotional and mental muscles. Just as the body becomes stronger through resistance and effort, so does the soul, through hardship and persistence. The process of rising is not always graceful. It can be messy, slow, and uncertain. But each step taken in defiance of defeat is a declaration of our character. Those moments when we choose to keep going even if we stumble are the ones that define our character. They show that while we may be bent by life's storms, we are not broken by them. We have the capacity to rebuild, to stand taller, and to become more than we were before. It is important to remember that strength is not the absence of struggle, it is the mastery of it. Every scar we carry is proof that we endure, that we stood in the face of adversity and refused to be erased by it. The world often celebrates perfection and success, but real inspiration comes from those who rise from hardship with humility and courage. They remind us that resilience is not rare. It is part of our human design. It lies dormant until called upon. And when it awakens, it proves that we are not fragile beings destined to break, but powerful souls designed to rise again and again, no matter how many times we fall. Pressure is often viewed negatively, associated with stress, anxiety, and overwhelming demands. But when examined more deeply, pressure serves a much greater purpose. Just as natural elements like carbon require intense heat and compression to become diamonds, so too do people often require pressure to reveal their truest, most refined selves. It is in those moments of high tension and difficulty, when options seem limited and time feels short, that people are pushed to dig deeper into their abilities. Without pressure, there would be no urgency to grow, no reason to stretch beyond the comfort zone, and no catalyst strong enough to spark true transformation. When we face pressurized situations, our instincts kick in, forcing us to respond in ways that uncover new strengths or capacities we didn't even realize we had. Think of moments in your life when you were backed into a corner, when there seemed to be no clear way out. Those moments may have brought anxiety, but they also demanded decisions, action, and resilience. Under pressure, we often shed distractions and focus on what truly matters. We stop overthinking and start trusting our instincts. In doing so, we become more decisive, more self-centered, and more capable. It is through this kind of pressure that we begin to evolve, not just survive. Transformation under pressure is rarely pleasant in the moment. It often involves discomfort, uncertainty, and even emotional pain. However, this discomfort serves a vital purpose. It shakes us out of stagnation, Without pressure, we remain still, satisfied with routine and afraid of risk. But with pressure, something shifts. The status quo becomes unsustainable, and we are pushed to rise or adapt. Just as coal is useless without the force that turns it into a diamond, our potential often remains hidden until life's pressures demand we refine it. These moments don't break us, they break open new layers of strength and creativity within us. In every difficult situation lies the possibility of transformation. Pressure compels innovation, resilience, and breakthroughs. It compresses distractions and forces focus. It invites us to rise into the people we are meant to become, not by removing adversity, but by enduring and transforming through it. Those who understand this don't run from pressure, they welcome it. Not because it's easy, but because they know it's necessary. It's not the absence of pressure that creates greatness. It's the ability to be molded and forged by it that defines the truly strong. The way we perceive our experiences, especially difficult ones, has a profound impact on how we respond to them. Our mindset acts like a lens through which we view life. And when that lens is clouded with negativity, fear, or defeat, even the smallest obstacles can feel insurmountable. But when we choose to shift that mindset, when we start seeing challenges as growth opportunities rather than threats, our entire relationship with hardship changes. Instead of fearing failure, we begin to understand it as part of the learning curve. Instead of seeing discomfort as a sign to stop, we see it as a sign that we're expanding our limits. Often people get stuck because they ask disempowering questions like, why is this happening to me? That kind of thinking leads to blame, self-pity, and stagnation. But imagine how powerful it is to reframe the situation and ask instead, what can I learn from this? Or how is this shaping me into a better version of myself? That small mental shift from victimhood to growth creates room for possibility. It allows us to reclaim agency over our lives and opens the door to creativity, resilience, and personal evolution. Mindset is not just positive thinking. It's the foundation of our response to adversity. Our thoughts determine our behaviors, and our behaviors ultimately shape our lives. When you shift your mindset, you shift the direction of your actions. A person who sees rejection as redirection will keep trying until they find their place, whereas someone who sees rejection as final may give up completely. This difference in mindset can be the dividing line between mediocrity and greatness. It is not external circumstances, but internal perspectives that most often determine our outcome. With the right mindset, failure becomes feedback, pain becomes fuel, and setbacks become setups for success. Developing a resilient mindset is a conscious process. It requires daily practice, self-certainness, and a willingness to challenge one's own limiting beliefs. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about acknowledging difficulty while refusing to be defined by it. This mental strength becomes especially critical during times of uncertainty. A resilient mindset empowers you to adapt, to problem solve creatively, and to see light in situations where others only see darkness. By shifting your mindset, you unlock a new level of personal freedom, where you're no longer controlled by circumstances, but guided by your inner strength and vision. Pain is often perceived as an enemy, something to avoid, escape, or suppress. It's uncomfortable, disruptive, and at times deeply overwhelming. But beneath its harsh surface, pain holds powerful lessons that comfort never could. Pain has a way of grabbing our attention, forcing us to stop and reflect. It brings awareness to areas of our lives that are broken, neglected, or misaligned. While happiness may be fleeting and easy to ignore, pain demands presence. It anchors us in reality, highlighting truths we may have overlooked or chosen to ignore. In this way, pain becomes not a punishment, but a messenger calling us to grow. When we learn to sit with pain rather than run from it, we open ourselves up to transformation. Avoidance may offer temporary relief, but it also delays healing. Facing pain head-on, acknowledging it, and allowing ourselves to feel it fully is a courageous act. And it is through this courage that we gain insight into our deepest fears, hopes, and values. Pain often strips away illusions and exposes what truly matters. It clarifies priorities and deepens our understanding of ourselves and others. The process can be brutal, but the wisdom gained from such experiences often becomes the cornerstone of lasting change. Some of the most profound growth in life comes from painful moments. Heartbreak teaches us about vulnerability and trust. Failure teaches us humility and resilience. Grief teaches us the value of love and presence. These lessons, though costly, are enduring. Unlike knowledge gained through books or lectures, the lessons from pain are etched into our being. They become lived truths, shaping our character and guiding our future choices. Through pain, we learn compassion, not only for others, but for ourselves. We begin to see strength not just in success, but in survival, in the ability to feel deeply and continue moving forward. Pain also reveals the depth of our emotional and spiritual capacities. In allowing ourselves to feel pain, we connect to our humanity in its rawest form. It humbles us, stretches us, and strengthens us in ways comfort never could. Those who allow pain to teach them often emerge wiser, more grounded, and more empathetic. They are not hardened by suffering, but soften in ways that make them more present, more real, and more capable of living fully. By embracing pain as a teacher rather than fleeing from it, we unlock a wellspring of growth, awareness, and purpose that shapes us far beyond the moment of discomfort. Persistence is one of the most underrated yet powerful forces in human life. It's easy to start something with enthusiasm, but it's much harder to continue when that excitement fades and challenges arise. True power does not come from bursts of energy or temporary motivation. It comes from the quiet, steady decision to keep going. Persistence is the force that carries us through moments of doubt, fatigue, and failure. It is the act of showing up again and again, even when results are not immediate and the path is unclear. Those who persist understand that progress is not always visible, but it is always building beneath the surface. Many people give up just when they are closest to a breakthrough because they grow tired of waiting or become discouraged by setbacks. But what they don't see is that every small step, every repeated effort, and every refusal to quit brings them closer to their goal. Persistence compounds over time. Like water carving through rock, consistent effort shapes reality in powerful ways. It may take longer than expected, and it may require more effort than imagined. But persistence ensures that the journey continues even when success feels out of reach. It transforms failure into experience, and experience into mastery. Persistence is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's the determination to move forward despite mistakes, rejections, or disappointments. The most successful individuals in any field are rarely those who had the easiest path. They are the ones who kept going when others stopped. They faced repeated defeats but chose to view each setback as a stepping stone rather than a wall. Persistence nurtures resilience, deepens commitment, and builds confidence. It teaches us that the process matters just as much as the outcome, and that effort itself is an act of strength. To persist is to believe that the vision is worth the struggle. What makes persistence so powerful is that it does not rely on circumstances. It comes from within. Regardless of what's happening outside, the decision to continue is always ours to make. This inner power, once recognized, becomes an unshakable asset. Life may knock us down, but persistence ensures we get back up. It allows us to face uncertainty with courage and to pursue goals with a fire that does not fade. Over time, persistent effort builds not just results, but character. It forges an identity rooted in strength, discipline, and faith in one's own journey. In every difficult moment, we are presented with a choice, either to be consumed by the hardship or to rise above it. This choice, though simple in theory, is monumental in practice. Life doesn't always give us control over what happens, but it always gives us control over how we respond. Choosing breakthrough is not about denying pain or pretending everything is fine. It's about facing reality with courage and making the conscious decision not to be defined by the choice to break through begins internally. With a mindset shift, a spark of determination, and a refusal to surrender, even when the odds feel stacked against us. Breakthroughs don't just happen randomly. They are the result of intentional decisions made consistently. Even when progress seems invisible, each day offers new opportunities to choose growth over despair, to take one more step when sitting still feels easier. It might mean trying again after failure, asking for help when pride says not to, or believing in yourself when no one else does. These choices don't need to be grand or loud. They can be quiet, subtle, and personal. But each one adds up, creating momentum that leads to transformation. Over time, these persistent choices become the foundation for lasting breakthroughs. What often holds people back is the belief that they are powerless. They think breakthroughs are for the lucky or the gifted, something external that happens to a select few. But the truth is that breakthrough is not an event, it's a decision. It begins the moment we stop waiting for rescue and start becoming our own rescue. We start blaming the world and start taking responsibility for how we move through it. This shift doesn't guarantee immediate results. This shift doesn't guarantee immediate results. When we take ownership of our choices, we also take ownership of our future. It can be a long journey. The capability In what, even in the darkest moments, the option to choose breakthrough remains. It might require patience, strength, and relentless faith, but it is always available. No matter how many times we fall, by choosing breakthrough, we reclaim our narrative and reaffirm that our power lies not in avoiding hardship, but in rising through it. So, in every trial, remember this: you are not powerless and you are never truly stuck. The road may be difficult, the weight may be heavy, but within you lies the strength to keep going. Challenges will come, but they are not the end, they are the beginning of transformation. Pain may visit, but it can be your teacher. Pressure may rise, but it will forge your strength. And in every single moment, you hold the ability to choose, not to break down, but to break through. Let your story be one of resilience, growth, and unstoppable determination. The breakthrough is already within you. Claim it.